Hey gang, here comes your screencast for Tuesday night's shopping cart fun. I know everyone had a blast. Let's go over slowly exactly what we did and why we did it. So the first thing we did was an entity relationship diagram, basically storing or considering how things would be stored in a shopping cart. Now, shopping carts, they vary in functionality, but all of them have the same baseline. Every single shopping cart that I've personally ever worked with has had a categories table and a products table. So what I did for the first part of this class was work with you guys to figure out what we needed to store, what was important. The goal being to build to a point where we not only can display product, but add it to a cart and remember where it was added for when the user comes back. So down here, the squares are nothing but tables in the database. And the values that have these little lines, these are the actual field names. So we first started with categories, and we had a table called categories with an ID, figure the name of the category, the description of it, and some tags that can help us when we search for a category. So it had a one-to-many relationship with products, meaning that there are many products for each category. That's what this 1:n is. That's the one-to-many. And this is Crow's notation for one category to many products. So the products table has a primary key auto-increment prod ID, as does the category. And we have a product name, a price. Remember, the price was decimal, 5,2, something like that, so that we have formatting inside our tables. Then we had a product description and a cat ID, which is borrowed, which is going to equal the cat ID here. Now, all of this is at its lowest level. We also had options, which is above and beyond, but we can build off that. And we also even had specials. So that's sitting here waiting for an example other than the candy example we used in our cart. So the cart items themselves are nothing but a holder table. And that means that there's no primary key, there's no index, there's no ID that gets incremented every time to maintain. All we want to know is our prod ID, which is from the products table. Our IP address comes from the server. The number of the product ID, the quantity that's in our cart, and any potential options. So once we did that, we had that settled, we went to our database and built our tables. I built them with the same prefix. It's cart underscore. So I built them right inside this database right here. And specifically, once it loads, I have these three tables: cart items, cart underscore categories, and cart underscore products. And I put some data in there. The first thing we did was add a category. So we had a taffy, and that's under cart categories. So just so you know how the data works, I've got cat ID 1, taffies, blah, 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 candy's awesome. And these would be my tags. So if someone typed in sugar, we'd get the response of taffies. Now the next one is rock candy for my second category. After that, I added a product. So the products are right here. So I have taffy sampler. Notice the cat ID is 1. That means both of these things belong to the taffy category. The next one I could do a product for rock candy. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do old school rock candy. Just enough to rot your teeth like Mama warned. There you go. And the price for this can be dirt cheap. Let's make it $1 a pound. $1.99. And the cat ID for this is cat ID 2. Okay, now I can't write per pound here because it's decimal 5.2. And that means it can go up to 5 digits with the decimal point of 2. So we can alter that as we need in case rock candy suddenly costs 10K. Anyway, so now I've got this. So after that, next thing we did was we went to my server. And the concept here, and I'll make sure that I have my dev tools up, was to create a simple interface. This is the home page. So I can go to Rock Candy here, old school Rock Candy, just enough to rot your teeth. Then we added a Buy Now button and an Add to Cart button. The Buy Now button goes right to the sandbox, which is kind of cool. Here it is right here, and yesterday I added my email address, which is something that still needs to be corrected, but we can see that I just bought, or I'm going to buy, old school Rock Candy. And again, the hassle is a big theme of this course. How to avoid the hassle of not having to sign in. So I got to figure that out. That's tabled for now. The idea yesterday was, toward the end, we wanted to use both local storage and the database to store our cart items, to have backup. So the term graceful degradation and progressive enhancement, those terms were thrown about. And you can see right here that I've got my order here. If I click on this, it's old school Rock Candy, item number 3, $1.99. Everything's working. Now the add to cart was a different animal. The add to cart, okay, right here. Come on. I need my dev tools. There it is. Oh, it finally showed up and then I turned it off again. So the dev tools, because what we want to do, let's say we wanted to add 5 of these to the cart, right? Add 5 to the cart. Oh, I got all of a sudden a categories.php unexpected token right here, which is a console.log issue. So I might as well go ahead and fix it. But the good news is that if I go to my cart items, here it is right here, we should see product 3, which is the Rock Candy. See right here, product ID 3, quantity 5, and there's my session ID. Okay, so there's a lot in that statement. I'm at the IP address of my office actually. You see it's slightly different from the one that we were on campus with last night. So we'll talk about next steps, but right now I want you to just understand the code and how we created it, and the fact that we actually have a JavaScript error right now. So this was my index, my homepage, and the connection is nothing more than a traditional connection. I'll open it up again in case you like it. I'll make sure that this gets zipped and put into the folder. But I have my connection with my database, and I'm preparing a select all from cart categories. This DBH is nothing more than the variable that holds the connection. This marker here is an instance marker where the prepare method isn't part of the DBH object. So what is that DBH object? Well, if I go back to connection right here, we can see that new PDO, this is the new PDO object, which is that connection, and it's put in that variable. So once we have that prepared statement, I can execute it here, execute being another method of that prepared statement. And as long as there is a row that equals each fetch option of this query, let's output the hyperlink and put the variable in between. So what happens there is you have the variables. You have, let me go back to right here. So Rock Candy, see it's cat ID 2, and Taffy's is cat ID 1. So that was the first part of it. And then we got into the actual categories.php. So there's really not much to learn. This turns on error reporting. This is new to some of you. It's a session start and basically makes a connection with the database. So if I go to my application section here and I go down to cookies, you'll actually see this session is the exact same session ID as what's right here. Okay? So sessions are really cool, and once you kill that session, you're logged out. But the fact is that this session ID, if I store it in local storage, when they come back, I can call this session ID and figure out what's in their cart. And that's just a backup. I mean, I can immediately, for the duration of this current session, I'm covered. But what if they give up, and they go away for a while, a couple of days, come back, open up the browser again, that session's dead. The fact is the session's not dead. It's actually inside the local storage. So the next step here is to go into our local storage, and this was actually working yesterday, but we want that session ID in there. So what I'm going to do real quick is, you see how this has an error? Let's make sure, we'll do add to cart, and we have that console error. It says invalid or unexpected token right inside this section right here, and that's because there are single quotes there. So what I will do, because I have store equals this, I need to, you see the set item, the store itself is those values, so I need to make sure that those are escaped. And I thought I did that, but right now it says local storage set item, which is, let me make sure we have, here's what we can do. So I'm going to close PHP, make it a little easier, and then inside my, I can open PHP again down here. So now we're just dealing with JavaScript itself. So let's set cart items to be equal to this, and then this can go away, this can go away, and all I'm going to do is PHP echo store, and then I'm going to close it just like this. So what will happen is I can eliminate all these escapes and actually have it be visible inside those values. So I have local storage set item, I have cart items. Remember, we're not in PHP right now, so we don't have to worry about anything, okay? So set item, this would actually be the JavaScript right here. This opens up PHP, closes it right away, so everything you see here should be good. So what I'm going to do is save it, upload it, hit refresh again, hit this, and hopefully, let's make sure we do a hard refresh. And the beauty of this is, even if it has a an issue with our, let me view the source code here. Even if there's an issue with JavaScript, hopefully it runs. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit refresh. And we should have top. Let's go ahead and add to cart again. So right now, you see there's a Taffy sampler right there. I have the backslash, and I can run an inspect element there, and we should see that's what we see. And if we go to our console, we can go back to cat ID 11 and see that this is the issue right here. So what happened is the variable has all these values, but they need to be on one line. So I can figure that out, because right now in JavaScript only has one value per line. So this string needs to remove the line breaks is what it does. So what I'm going to do is literally remove the line breaks. And then the JSON should validate. A lot going in here. It's a capstone type of project for this program, and it's nice because you can actually review some of the things you should have learned or need to learn to make the picture of your certificate and or associate's program complete. So like this, you see session ID there, I would need a comma. And I'm just making sure it's one line, because JavaScript can be a little bit of a bear if you have line breaks. And that's one of the reasons, if you take JavaScript, you'll notice you don't have to have semicolons on each line, and that's because a line break itself is a line. So let's do a hard refresh again, and let's see if we can eliminate these values. Okay, so here's my line. It says basically cart items equals all this. I'm not getting any issues, and I just added one to cart, right? And hopefully, if I go to my application here, look at that. See this? That is my object for JSON. And that is what I wanted to see the whole time, because the fact is I can come back, and if there's nothing here, I don't care. If there is something here, I do care, and I'll pull it out. So not only do we have this now, but we have this. So the local storage is permanent, it's persistent. And what will happen is when the user comes back, if I can check the session off their local storage and call this out and put this product back in their cart. Now, big picture is that we are going to be after a purchase, when the instant payment notification comes in, I can delete that cart item. So if it's bought, it's going to be gone. All right, so that is the plan, and that's what we did last night. I think I've gone over everything. This is just the display, but what's important is getting the category ID. A couple other things that I did was I used the form action for PHP self with the query string, so it's always dynamic, because we have to keep that query string above to maintain the category. For example, on cat ID 1, if I hit add to cart, it has to stay add to 1. Okay, that's an important part of this. So anyway, I will close this out, and I will zip up our files and then handle any questions you want. Okay, thanks. Next week we'll do a little bit more, probably not as much code, but occasionally we have the need to go quickly, and that's why we do screencasts. That way we can utilize our in-class time. And I'm open to suggestion if you guys want to code this on your own. If you want to try it on your own, I'm down. That would be fun. Okay? Let me know. Bye.